Good day, good day. It's God Says Ministries, the House of Fire, and I'm Prophet Tavis. So earlier on, I did put out a video about a prophecy that was speaking about South Africa particularly, but Africa as well. And that prophecy, I had forgotten that I had it. And so I was actually looking for something else at that time. I was looking for a prophecy that was given to me that started this ministry, basically. And when I found that I thought, I've forgotten about this one. It's not on my phone. It's on my main board, my main computer. But when I found that one, I found another one as well. It was on the 20th of September, 2020. 20th of September 2020. But I'm going to go to an August prophecy before I get into this one. This is talking about the United States of America. And so is the August prophecy. 1st of August 2024. The 1st of August 2024. I've put it out here before, but I want to tie the two together and show you what the Lord is talking about. So this is on the 1st of August 2024. God says, "O August, what should I say? Prophets of Baal screaming out in anguish as they rip the flesh from their own bodies, while chanting curses of old that have been bound for eternity. But they still try and revive them in a confusion of dribble. Blinded to the signs before them, they egg one another on to a victory with no truth. For I have bound the hands that once fed them, and Elijah is patient." So here we see we're in August right now, and we're in August 2025. This was August 2024. So God is now bringing prophecies together and lining them up, that every single one of these prophecies are starting to come to pass. So yeah, he says, "Oh August, what should I say? Prophets of Baal screaming out in anguish as they rip the flesh from their own bodies while chanting curses of old that have been bound for eternity." What is it talking about? Well, it's talking about what's going on with all these releases, all these secret documents that were hidden away in burn bags and what have you, about who was behind the hoax of Russia and who has been performing a coup since 2016 on the United States, trying to break the back of God's chosen. It's talking about the enemies of the Republic of the United States of America. You call them the deep state, the cabal, whatever you want to call them. And these people's names are coming up: Brennan, Obama, Clapper, Comey, Strzok, Soros. All these names, Clintons, are coming up and bubbling to the surface. And what is the dribble? The dribble is, but still they try, but they still try and revive these curses in a confusion of dribble. What are the curses he's talking about? The curse that they try to put on Donald Trump in his first term. The curses that they try to put on Donald Trump in his first term in his administration. The curses that they put out in Biden's term. Biden's term. We know it's not Biden's term. He was a zombie walking around the White House, that the same people that were behind all this nonsense with Trump are the same people that were pushing Biden out front so they could work in the shadows behind. So these are the prophets of Baal. The Clappers, the Brennans, the Obamas, the Soruses, the Pelosi's, you know their names, Schiffs, Adam Schiff, you know their names. The prophets of Baal screaming out in anguish as they rip the flesh from their own bodies, while chanting curses of old that have been bound for eternity. So what they were doing in the past, all those have been bound for eternity. But they still try and revive them in a confusion of dribble, blinded to the signs right in front of them, blinded to the signs of the times right in front of them, they still believe they are in control. Blinded to the signs before them, they egg one another onto a victory with no truth. For I have bound the hands that once fed them. The hands that once fed them are bound. People that gave them money to do all this are bound. Their hands are bound. Then it says, final little sentence, and Elijah is patient. In this sense of Elijah here is Donald Trump. Elijah is patient. The spirit of Elijah upon Donald Trump. He's patient for waiting for their judgment. Now we go back to September 20, the 20th of September 2020. Now we're getting lots of people putting out rapture on the 24th of September. Rapture. We're going to be raptured on the 24th of December. You're not going to be raptured. But all these prophets of Baal are the shadow of a rapture in the negative. They are going down. The rapture for us is to go up into the heavens with the King of Kings. But this September, it's the reverse rapture, and they are going down to the pits of hell. Some of them will send themselves there. Others will sit in a dark place with gnashing of teeth, dark, wet, damp cells. Here's the prophecy for the 20th of September 2020, which I have forgotten I had. God says, without me they shall bow among the prisoners, and they shall fall among the slain. For all this my anger is not turned away, but my hand is stretched out still. A sign will be seen, and a sound will be heard as a remnant sing with one voice a new song, a new beginning, a golden age, a new song. And I will breathe life into the land of the brave and set freedom loose once again. And you will know that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob walks among you. For the day is coming that every man will hear the truth, and those confused will be many. The streets will be filled with the lost, but I have set aside righteous mouths of power, filled to the brim with healing oil. This day is on the horizon. 24th of September 2025, on the horizon, and is known by my prophets. Many prophets who have stood faithfully through many, many days of ridicule. For I will no longer stand for the injustice, and will place my hand upon the scales of time. All these people are talking about that the statute limitation has run out on these crimes. They all talking about they're okay, thinking they're okay. The statute of limitation has run out. But God says, I will no longer stand for the injustice, and will place my hand on the scales of time. In other words, they are not going to get away with it. They are not going to get away with it. Without me they shall bow down among the prisoners, and they shall fall among the slaves. Without him. In other words, he gave, yet it is. For all this, my anger is not turned away, but my hand is stretched out still. He gave them a time of grace to turn from their wicked ways. He was stretching his hand out still to them. But they didn't. And he says, a sign will be seen and a sound will be heard as a remnant sing with one voice a new song. In other words, a new era, a new age, a new beginning. And I will breathe new life into the land of the brave, the United States of America, and set freedom loose once again, the land of the brave and the free. And I will breathe new life into the land of the brave and set freedom loose once again. In other words, we're all going to get, all the slaved humans are going to be set free. And you will know that the God of Abraham, Isaac, not Ishmael, Isaac and Jacob walks among you. For the day is coming that every man will hear the truth. I was watching people with the left on the street where they protested, and they were all getting asked questions. They are so brainwashed and so confused. They're living still in the past, like the prophets of Baal, as if the Russia hoax was real still. They still haven't figured out the truth. They're so brainwashed. For a day is coming that every man will hear the truth, and those confused will be many. Because they're already on the streets confused, protesting with things they don't even know what they're protesting for. The streets will be filled with the lost. You can see they lost on the street. The left, radical left, holding up signs, protesting. They are lost. They don't know what they're protesting half the time for. But I have set aside righteous mouths of power, filled to the brim with healing oil. God's faithful are going to hit the streets with. This day is on the horizon and is known by my prophets, who have stood faithfully through many, many days of ridicule. I can turn to that because the amount of people that call me a false prophet and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about and this and whatever. I stayed fast. I said Trump will get another term. I believed it may have been the 2020, but I also know that Trump won 2020. And he did own 2020 season, because if you look at the focus wasn't on the Biden administration, it was on Donald Trump all the time. So he still held the light. For I will no longer stand for the injustice, and I will place my hand upon the scales of time. In other words, the time hasn't run out on these crimes, because God owns time. He's the one on time, and he, upon the scales of time, he's going to put his hand, bringing this all into the light, and none of these oaks are going to get off scot-free. They believe the statute has run out according to them, but God has placed his hands upon the scale of time, and they are not going to get away with it. And this September will be the reverse rapture of the wicked, either gnashing their teeth in a dark black hole or sending themselves to the dark black hole of hell. May even see a suicide weekend. A lot have gone already via suicide. But when this gets hotter, who's going to take what they believe is the easy way out? It's all coming out in this September. And oh, October. And oh, November. November. God bless you. May His favor to be part of you. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen.